Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Khatamin nabiyyin Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Allahumma salli. والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعن الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We will be inshallah soon getting the opportunity to get to the very second of our Furu'e-Din, which is fasting in the month of Ramadan, which is a wajibat that has been placed on us. And there are many aspects to fasting. There is the akhlaq aspect, there is the philosophical aspect, there is the spiritual aspect, and many things that will be discussed during Mahe Ramadan. But there is one important aspect which is to fast correctly, and that is the fiqh aspect. And inshallah, starting today until we get to Mahe Ramadan, end of Shaban, we will be discussing the fiqh masails of Mahe Ramadan, the importance of Mahe Ramadan, and the fasting itself. So starting today we will do this. This is a wajibat, and like Allah says that He has, all those who believe, fasting has been prescribed upon you the way it was prescribed upon those before you. Now that is the tafsir of it. That is not our concern at this time. Our concern is fasting itself and how to go about it. Most of us remember, yes, but it is always good to remind each other so that we make our fast better, inshallah. Because the reward of fasting is Allah Himself, He says. So this is an important aspect. Now, first and foremost, fasting is wajib upon all those men and women who are baligh and have to fast. That is the principle. However, there are certain exemptions of who cannot fast. Now, the first part of the masail is that we do fasting on Yawmul Shak, but I will keep this for the last Sunday, inshallah, because that will be nearer to the time. So, we have to fast from the very first sighting of the moon of Mahe Ramadan and end at the very sighting of the moon, or new moon at end of Mahe Ramadan, which is the beginning of Mahe Shawwal. So, it is wajib for all, but there are certain categories for whom there is an exemption, certain categories who would be left out for Mahe Ramadan but need to repay. So we look at that first. The first one is the person who cannot fast because of old age or for whom fasting causes extreme hardship. One who cannot just fast because he is very old. Old age cannot allow him to bear that and he can't bear it. But the second one is fasting causes extreme hardship. In that case, if it causes extreme hardship, he should give fidya. Now we will discuss fidya in a moment, because there is two terms here that we sometimes mix up. One is fidya, one is kafara. Fidya is different from kafara. Fidya is redemption, kafara is a penalty. So these are two different things, and we will discuss this in a moment, inshallah. And it says it should give fidya of food stuff like we do, to a poor person for every fast. Fidya is paid for every fast, a 3/4 kilo of food stuff. Wa alaikum salam. However, if he becomes capable of fasting later, he should, on the basis of recommended precaution, give qada. Meaning, for that category of people who are exempted. It is only for that category, it is not for everyone. That when there is somebody who is old age or extreme hardship, if he becomes better during the year, then he must also give his qada for it. The second category is a person who suffers from a disease which causes excessive thirst, making it unbearable or full of hardship. There is maybe certain diseases in which a person cannot just be without water for a long period of time. He needs water and it's something to do with his thirst. In that case, he would be exempt. Or when it is unbearable, full of hardship for anyone, then it becomes that he should give fidya to a poor person for every fast. At the same time, as a recommended precaution, such a person may not drink water during the month of Ramadan in a quantity more than absolutely essential. If he recovers later, enabling him to fast, then as a recommended precaution, he must give qada. Now, in this masala, there is a note which is also important and which may some of us may be thinking, oh, we have this loophole, we can use that loophole. It is not a loophole. There is a note here, it says, weakness is not a sufficient cause. I cannot say I'm feeling too weak, I don't want to fast today. That is not a sufficient excuse or a cause. Fasting is wajib, we will have to fast. Excuse for even if excessive, unless it is in a distressing situation. Thirst, all of us, when we fast, we feel thirsty, but it's not that thirst that allows you not to fast. Then all Muslims will not be fasting. It is when it becomes distressful, that it is a distress, that is the word used. In that case, breaking the fast is permissible and it is wajib to perform its qada after the month of Ramadan. So in that case, for example, these days we get my Ramadan and fasting in the month of summer where the days are lengthy. When the winter days come and it is less hot and it is more bearable, such a person must fast. Similarly, breaking the fast is permissible if weakness leads to the inability of doing work which is necessary to earn one's living and is unable to do any other work, or work cannot continue with the fast due to being overcome by thirst. Now, we have certain categories of workers who are always out in the sun, for example. And it is unbearable that if they start fasting, they are all right like this, but if they fast, then they cannot work because of their job and whatever. In that case, such people, if it is impossible for them to fast and work, because working is earning for their family and themselves, which is also an important wajibat, in that case, he is allowed to break the fast of Ramadan. It is necessary and more prudent for them to restrict their eating and or drinking to the necessary amount and restrain themselves from eating more than necessary. This is a note that is for this masail, and that is an important aspect, that if we are in that category of workers, where if we fast we cannot work, then this masail will apply. Now, before we go any further, let me make a note that fasting in the month of Ramadan, Ramadan, is wajib, not only wajib, not fasting intentionally is not allowed and is not permissible also. So we must have this in mind. And this is in an interactive session. If there are any questions, please stop me. We can try and answer these questions, so there is no problem. This is a general fiqh session. The third category who are exempted from fasting in Ramadan is a woman who is in advanced stage of pregnancy, for whom fasting is harmful for herself or for the child that she is bearing in her womb. In that case, she will not fast in the month of Ramadan and she will pay qada afterwards, and at the same time she will have to pay fidya for every fast that she would miss. In both cases, she has to give qada as well as for the fast left out. If a woman is suckling a child, now she has already delivered the child, now it is Maha Ramadan, and now she is nursing her child, suckling her child, and the quantity of her milk is not enough if she fasts, so she needs to replenish herself in that case, or fasting is harmful to her or the child. Provided she is the only source of the child's suckling, she will give fidya to the poor, and in both cases she will later give qada also. Qada is not out here. In the old age, in those who are sick, that is a different matter. They cannot fast, then there is no qada. But for this one, there is qada and as well as fidya for every fast that is missed. A woman who is in the state of haid or nifas will not fast. Haid is the monthly time that the women get. Nifas is the time that is immediately after childbirth. So in both these cases, in those days she will not fast, and she has to give qada for the fast left out. Now, if a person knows that fasting is not harmful, this is a very common question we get. He knows that it is not harmful to him, he should fast, and his fast will be valid even if his doctor advises him not to fast. There are many times we say, oh, my doctor has said don't fast, but I feel okay, I can do it. Do it. The masala says, if you yourself feel you can do it, even if your doctor has advised you against it, do it. You must do the fast. On the other hand, even if the doctor says do the fast, and I personally feel I am not able, although the doctor says yes I can, you should not fast. And it says here, and if a person is certain or has a strong feeling that fasting is harmful to him, he should not fast even if his doctor advises for it, but he is required to give qada for the fasts left out. Sometimes you become sick just before Maha Ramadan or during Maha Ramadan, and it is at that time you are told a couple of days, please take it easy, don't do it. And if you yourself feel weak in that manner because of that illness, not weakness, general weakness, but because of illness and all that, then you will not fast. And you have to give qada for it. Then it says it is permissible to break the fast on the basis of a doctor's statement if it induces the presumption of possibility of harm resulting in actual fear. If it is not so, then it is not permissible to break the fast based on this statement. Sometimes I go to the doctor and the doctor says, hello, enough, drink this glass of water now. And if there is that presumption that it is in a situation where your sickness has gone in an advanced level, and it says it is an actual fear of your life or getting even further ill, which is something extra, not normal fever and things like that, but something that is advanced, then in that case you are allowed to break your fast. If the doctor says that there is no harm in fasting, and the person under an obligation to fast is afraid himself, doctor says, don't, you can fast, there is no harm, but I am afraid that if I fast it will affect me and it will take me into an advanced level, then it is permissible for him to break the fast. In fact, it is wajib if the suspected harm is to a forbidden degree. Now these are for certain diseases that are what we call big diseases or things like that. Otherwise, it is permissible for him to fast in the hope of divine acceptance and to be content with it if it later becomes evident that it was not harmful. Otherwise, generally when we are just not feeling well is okay, we still need to fast. Now, fidya. Fidya is a 3/4 kilo in Islamic terms, it is called 1 mud, which is 3/4 kilo of grain. And it says, if a person without any shari reason does not observe the qadha. Now, whenever we talk of qadha of any fast, it has to be done from that Mahe Shawwal that started after Mahe Ramadan until Mahe Shaban, before the month of Ramadan enters. The 11 months that we have in between, the qadha must be paid. Now, if there is somebody who has qadha and does not repay his fasts before the end of Mahe Shaban and another Mahe Ramadan gets in, all those fasts, that qaza that he has missed, he has to give fidya. Now, this is not a simple masail. We should not take it lightly. Qadha is a wajibat, it has to be performed. Fidya is in addition to qadha, and qadha does not become void by giving fidya. Otherwise, most of us would give fidya and get out of it. But no, it is not. Qadha remains. Qadha has to be done, and has to be done in a timely manner before the next Mahe Ramadan gets in. And then, in addition to offering the qadha of the fast, he, on the basis of ihtiyat wajib, will give fidya 1 mud of food to poor for each fast that is left out. This is when he goes beyond. Because in Mahe Ramadan, we must understand, number one, in Mahe Ramadan, we cannot fast any other niyat but the Mahe Ramadan of that year only. We cannot say last year Mahe Ramadan, we cannot say next year Mahe Ramadan, we cannot say it is another, we cannot say it is qadha or mustahab. Any niyat is not allowed but the niyat of Mahe Ramadan of that very year. That is important. 2. If one has qadha, he cannot fast mustahab during the year also. For example, I want to fast on the 1st of Rajab or 15th of Shaban or Mi'raj that is coming up. It is mustahab to fast on that day, but if I have qadha to pay, then I must fast that day with the niyat of that qadha. And inshallah, Allah will grant me the thawab of fasting on that auspicious day as well, because I am fasting on that day. So inshallah, Allah will give me that thawab, but I cannot fast with a mustahab niyat when it is, when I have a qadha. That is an important principle we must understand. It is not like salat. You cannot say, oh, I have qadha salat, so I don't pray nafila and I don't pray amal. No. Salat is a different subject. Saum is a different subject, and everything is in its own perspective. So in Saum, you cannot fast if you have qadha. Now, the question is, can fidya be paid in cash, the price of 3/4 kilograms of flour or rice? The answer is the one to whom it must reach. The mustahiq, as we say, the poor or the needy whom it must reach, has to receive it in kind. He cannot be given in cash. If I have to use an intermediate and give the intermediate a cash to buy and give it, that is allowed. Let us not forget this. For example, I am sending my fidya to Dar es Salaam because I don't have anyone to give here. For example. Then in that case, I can give to my cousin or my brother or my sister in Dar es Salaam the money and tell him or her to buy that food and give it to the mustahiq. The mustahiq must get it in kind, not in cash, for fidya. It is important that that is observed.
How do you count the fidya? Because in Dar es Salaam, the price is low and here price is high. How do you count it?
It is the rice and the flour or whatever you are giving that he will buy.
So you count that price, not
That would be the way of understanding, yes. Because You see, the person who is being given is given the rice, for example. Now, rice is, say, 2,000 shillings there per kilo. So he will buy those many kilos of rice at 2,000 shillings, but for you it is just $1. Whereas here it could be $1.30. Doesn't matter. You will pay him what he has paid for, right? Of course. But there is no harm in giving more. The basic is, yeah, the basic is that whatever he is buying and giving it for, you pay him for that. Ji. Ji. I am coming to that. That is coming. The next very question, it says, can fidya be paid to other than Shia Ithna Ashari? That should answer your question as well. It says the primary recipient of fidya is a Shia Muslim. Primary. And of course, if one knows of a person who has no hatred towards the Ahlul-bayt. See, there are people who don't believe in Ahlul-bayt, that is okay. But in their wilaya, it is okay. But there are people who hate the Ahlul-bayt. Nasibis, as we say. Nasibis cannot be given. So in that case, it says, if they have no hatred for Ahlul-bayt, and there is a possibility of them being inclined to the faith of Ahlul-bayt, then that person can be helped by kafara or fidya or zakat. This is an exception to the rule, but generally, yes, fidya has to be given to a Shia Ithna Ashari. Anything else on this? Then it says, the primary recipient of the fidya, if a person on whom fidya becomes wajib is poor and cannot afford to pay fidya, is she or he exempted from paying fidya? The answer is in the affirmative. If the answer is affirmative, does the wajibat remain on him so that in the event later she is able to pay, she is required to pay fidya which has become due before? The answer is yes, it is wajib and remains like a debt. It doesn't say debt, it says wajib-e muasa, which remains obligatory until it is paid off. Like a debt. It is, when it becomes wajib on me, I am unable to do it because I don't have the finance for it. It remains like it. Whenever I have that amount or that money available to me, I will have to pay it. Now, we will very quickly, I know we have done a couple of minutes, but it's a very important thing because we are talking of fidya. There is a nice chart that Sayyid Muhammad Rizvi has made 2 years back, which is very easy and very quick to understand. If media, if you can please get us on the screen, we can look at it, please. The ladies can turn on their television so that they can see the chart. We can see from here that there are 3 columns after the description, and that is qada, fidya and kafara. When one cannot fast at all because of old age, there is neither qada, nor fidya, nor kafara. Kafara is only when somebody intentionally does not fast in my Ramadan or breaks his fast. And we will come to the masais that is there for it. Then we have old age. Can fast, but with very much difficulty. In that case, he is in distressing situations and things like that. In that case, there is no qada if he doesn't fast, and there is no kafara if he doesn't fast. The only thing that he will have to give is fidya per fast. Then comes temporary illness. I became sick. I could not fast, then in that case I will not fast, but I will have to give qada. There is no fidya and there is no kafara. Fidya will only come if I do not do the qada before the next Maha Ramadan. Only then, not otherwise. The fourth item is long-term illness. Somebody is diabetic or any other disease as such whereby he is long-term ill. He goes on and on. There is no immediate chance of him recovering during the year. In that case, there is no qada because he can't fast. But there is fidya that is to be paid for every fast that is missed, but there is no kafara on it. When it comes to pregnancy or when it comes to nursing a child, these are both in the same category, that you will have to give qada for every fast that is missed and also fidya for every fast missed. Now, I want to make a clarification and you help me in this if I'm not saying it correctly, that in this case you pay fidya for not having fasted in the Maha Ramadan of 2016. For example, there is somebody who is pregnant or nursing a child in the Ramadan of 2016 and will have to pay qada, and she has to pay fidya for every fast. But she could not give her qada before Maha Ramadan of 2017 now. In that case, she is not paying double fidya, but she is paying the second fidya for not having done the qada before when it was due, correct? So, fidya is paid once only. However, in these cases, it is such that if I did not give fidya, I gave fidya for my fast that I missed this year, but now I have not repaid qada before the next Maha Ramadan has come. Now I am paying fidya for not having given the qada in time. And this happens quite often with certain women, and that is why I am emphasizing on this. Then it says, when it comes to traveling, and we will come to the masails of traveling inshallah, when one has to travel, one wants to travel, one wants to just travel, you can do it, but if you do it before Zohar time in your city of residence, or you are staying somewhere else less than 10 days, in that case you cannot fast. Wherever there is qasr salat, you cannot fast. And whenever you are less than 10 days, you cannot fast. So the masails of the 4 masajid where we are able to pray full is another matter, it's not here. But here I want to say that if you travel before Zohar, then that fast of that day is not valid. You will have to give qada for it. There is no fidya, there is no kafara. And if you travel after Zohar, then on that day, the fast is valid. You will complete your fast and there is no qada, there is no fidya, there is no kafara. On the same note, if you are coming back home, if you reach before Zohar or expect to reach before Zohar, made your niyat, did not do anything that breaks the fast and reached here before Zohar, then the fast of that day is valid. There is no qada for that day, no fidya, no kafara. But if you made the niyat, but then you saw your flight got delayed or you got delayed on the road or whatever and did not make it by Zohar, then on that day you will have to give qada. Ji. Yeah. Yes, but there are rules and regulations for kasiru safar, as we say, or one whose profession is traveling. When it is profession of traveling, his all salat is full and all the Maha Ramadan he has to fast, yes. Kasiru safar. We put them in the category of kasiru safar. We will come to those masails inshallah. But yes, one whose business is traveling, a pilot, a courier, a ship owner, a ship engineer, one who is traveling. Traveling is his business and occupation. In that case, whenever he is on his occupation, he prays full wherever he is, doesn't matter, and he will fast when it is necessary. However, such people, if they go on a holiday, then during the holiday there is qasar, if it applies, if it is less than 10 days and things. But we will come to those masails, inshallah. Let's not hurry up. If there is any question on this, please let me know. We can work on that, inshallah. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين. رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات.